Hi, my loves. So, this is going to be my vlog for A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. There will be spoiler and non spoiler sections, so please look at the timestamps so you don't get spoiled. There will be spoilers from Blood and Ash, which is the first book in the series. So, if you have not read that book, please don't watch this video. And if you have not read A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, please stick to the parts that are spoiler free. If you're interested in my thoughts, please keep watching. I had so much fun.
I am so scared of falling down. I just won't climb in the first place. Hold my head under, let me drown. Because I'm empty space and I can't let things slide.
So I am reading A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I am 168 pages through, and I am loving this so far. So in the first book from Blood and Ash, we left off with Cass or Hawk. I'm going to refer to him as Cass, but that is a choice. And he proposes, well, he doesn't really propose marriage, he kind of just like puts marriage out there as like a thing that could happen. So this book takes off right after that, and we're still in the same place. We're still in the like tavern that they're living in, so we're still there. They are preparing to start their journey to Atlantia, and the romance between Cass and Poppy is still there. She has literally just decided to say yes to marriage to him, but it's more like different reasons for them getting married. So if they get married, then Cass will get his goals and Poppy will get her goals. So it's like a marriage of convenience, but I know that it's going to end in love because just the way that the two characters are together. So I know that it's going to end with them being in love. Well, I hope it is because it's a romance. I want that to happen. And then so far it's a little bit slow. I kind of thought it would be because I literally jumped from the first book into the second book like the same day. So they were getting a lot of information to recap on the first book, but because I just finished the first book, I don't need that information. So it's going a bit slower than what I would like it to. But I am still enjoying it. I'm still loving the characters. Although Poppy has been like really aggressive, and I know this is like weird because she is being held captive kind of. So like of course you're gonna be stubborn and you're gonna fight, but she knows that she loves Cass, so I believe she knows she's not in any danger of him. She just doesn't want to like be forced into that situation. I get that, I understand that, but like you love him. He's gonna marry you. It's not like a being held captive situation anymore. And I know that she's angry because he lied literally about everything about himself in the first book. So I know she's gonna be angry, but like you've got like you're still with him and he's doing this to protect you, and he actually gave pretty good reasons as to why he wants to marry you. So I don't know. And then I really am enjoying the parts where Kieran the Wolven, which is like Cass's second in command, he is like Poppy's personal guard now, and their dynamic is good. I really want like a little bit of this book to be about their friendship, because I think they would have a pretty good friendship. From what has been said already, there's a part in this where like Kieran's protecting Poppy from being seen, and Poppy's like, he's already seen me, move you big oaf. And Kieran's just like, really? And I'm like, this is a mood, this is a friendship that I really, really can get behind. So I hope that is a thing. Because I think I would absolutely love it. Yeah, so I'm just getting into like the good parts, I would say. We've recapped a lot of what happened in the first book, so I'm hoping now that we can move on to the events of this book. I am totally enjoying it. And I can't wait to get further in and see what this one's going to be about, because so far it's just been about their journey is a way start to Atlantia, so it's been about them preparing for their journey. I know that Atlantia is really short in space, so there's a problem with people coming there because they've not got a lot of room. So Poppy and Cass will get married, and he will go and get his brother back and demand um land and demand land from them so the people in Atlantia can live more comfortably. And doing this, he won't reveal their like ploy as they ascended just to feed. And all of them will believe him because the maiden will then be his wife, so they'll follow the maiden. So I'm looking forward to that. I am looking forward to the world being a bit more explained and developed, because I would really like more information set out in like an easier way to discern. So like there's Craven, and then there's vampires which are also ascended, and then there is Atlanteans that used to answer to the gods, and then there's Woven, which are wolves. So I would really like a bit more information about the creatures that are in this book, and like the creatures that roam about in the woods and stuff, because they haven't been explained as much. So I'd like to see some of that, and hopefully on the journey to Atlantia that we will see that. So yeah, I am enjoying this book, and I am going to read some more tonight, but I am really, really tempted to watch the first episode of Shadow and Bone, because I was going to read the books first. I've owned the books for years, and I still haven't picked them up. So I was determined that I was going to read the books first. But now the show's been out and everyone's talking about it, and I'm trying it really hard to not get spoiled. But I know that I eventually will. So I'm like, should I just put on the first episode and see if I'm gonna like it, and then I can always go back and read the books because I already own them? I don't know. I think I'm gonna watch the first episode and see how I feel about it. So I'll probably update you with my thoughts on the show and when I read some more. So was Mal always a badass, or did they make him more of a badass in the show? Like, is this what he's like in the books? Let me know. I'm curious. Ooh. Is that Freddy from Skins? Show me again. I think that's Freddy from Skins. I haven't seen him in like forever. So it is Freddy from Skins, and he's called David, and I am living for his character right now. Just watch. Books can be weapons. The lighting is horrible and you can barely see me, but all you need to know is I'm fucking freaking out about Shadow and Bone. I love Jasper, I love Inej, I have a crush on Inej. Elena just kissed the Darkling and I'm like, I don't really feel it. I kinda pushing more towards her now, but we shall see. I have so many thoughts, Oh, Mama bites. Oh, good Elena. Where's Mom? Hey, Mom. So I read absolutely nothing last night. I ended up watching Shadow and Bone all night. I finished all 8 episodes in one night. This blew me away. Like, I don't even know. I have not read the books and I will be reading the books, but wow, the casting is great. I love the dynamic between the whole cast. The story is phenomenal. The special effects of the magic is great. The tense, the build up, it's just so good. Like, I have been missing out on this series and I am so glad that I watched it. I was only going to watch 1 episode, that turned into 2, and then 2 turned into me at 6 a.m. in the morning thinking, what the fuck did I just watch? Because it blew my fucking mind. Please watch this so we can speak about it. If you have watched this, comment down below what your thoughts are, because I need someone to speak about this with, because I have so much thoughts, but I do not want to spoil anyone on this video. So please comment down below or message me on Instagram so we can talk about it, because I need to fangirl with someone. But the whole point of this vlog is for me to read A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, and I haven't been reading it. So I am still 100, I think I read a couple of pages. I think I'm 189 pages through. I'm still enjoying it. My feelings and thoughts are exact same as last time that I checked in, so I've not got much in the way of more information on how I feel. But the plan tonight is I have a few things that I have to do today. I had to film a couple of videos and clean up and get stuff sorted because I go back to work tomorrow night, so that's fine. I need to do that. I also need to do meal prep, which is so boring, but it needs to be done. So I have a few things to do, and then I have to nap so I can sleep tomorrow for work on Wednesday night. So tonight I am going to read as much as I can. So I will get everything I need to do done, and then I'm gonna go for a nap, and then I will be up all night. And now that I don't have Shadow and Bone to distract me, I should be able to get a good chunk of this book read, and then I can come back and update you with my feelings once I have actually read more of this book, because I am enjoying it. I am happy that I jumped into this book straight away, even though it's been a bit slow because of coming from the first book straight into the second book. The recap, I don't need it, so it's been a bit slow. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still finding everything so entertaining and the characters so great. So yeah, I'm still loving it, and all I need to do now is sit down and read it so I can tell you more of my thoughts. So once I do everything I've got to do and settle down for the night, I will check in and let you know how I'm doing.
God, what made me decide?
I don't think you've seen. If they go 20 to 60. Not
Maybe
in
like
order.
40-ish?
40-ish, so yellow or dark blue or pink. Those are very spread out.
I believe in your skill.
I don't. We'll try for yellow. We'll try.
My fingers are crossed.
Green, which is 20, which is not quite as long as I was hoping for, so I have lots of reading to do.
So I finally finished A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I have some thoughts. So I'm gonna give my non-spoiler thoughts first, and then I'll get into more spoiler thoughts. And please look at the timestamp so you don't spoil yourself if you have not read this book. There will be spoilers for the first book, obviously, because this is a sequel, but either way, I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this book. So, I read From Blood and Ash and really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. There will be a link down below or up here of my reading vlog for that. That is also spoiler and spoiler free, so you can watch it if you've read the book or not. But I jump right into A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire simply because I enjoyed the first book so much. So I really wanted to jump straight into the sequel, and I kind of think I shot myself in the foot here because I did enjoy this, but I think that it could have been half of the size that it actually is, because there is about 100 page of recap really of what went on in the first book. Nothing much really happened. Again, if you leave a certain amount of time between the first book and the second book, this is helpful, so I get why that was in there. But for me, it just slowed my progress because I jumped straight into this book. And then not a lot really happens in this book. The plot is very slow. There is more character development, which I enjoyed, and more world explanation that I again enjoyed. But for me, it was just so slow, and I understand that this is like a second book, so it could have that second book slump, which I feel that it did. I personally gave this a 3.5 star. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the world. I just felt like the plot and the atmosphere really plummeted in this book because there wasn't much of it. It was literally them moving from one place to another place, and it took 600 pages to fucking get there. So for me, it just wasn't it. Like, I'm so sad because I found this quite disappointing, and I loved the first book so much that I expected to love this book just as much. Unfortunately, that's not the case. This could have been simply because I jumped straight into the sequel after reading the first book, but based on this book alone, the plot, the pacing, and the outcome wasn't that great. I did really enjoy the last 100 pages. I felt like they were really solid. 100 pages from the end, a lot happened, which is why it got the 0.5 instead of just a 3 star. So yeah, there was good parts in this book, and there was parts I really enjoyed. I just felt like if the book was smaller, if it had, this book is like 628 pages. So this is a chunker of a book, and I felt like it didn't need to be that long. It could have really gone down by like 150 pages, and it still would have gave the same payoff that we got. It actually probably would have made it better because the action scene, so if we're going by the 3 act, then the first part was like the recap of everything that happened in From Blood and Ash, and the start of the story in A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. The middle part didn't really have a climax, and this is why I feel like it could have done with being like a smaller book, because the climax, the build to the climax took so long. Like, it felt like nothing was happening. We were getting information that I enjoyed and made me like blush, but again, it could have been done instead of over 400 pages, it could have been done over 3. And I just feel like this book being this long really done itself a disservice, because it didn't need to be this long. The last 100 pages was the climax, and I enjoyed that immensely. I did like the ending of this book. I just honestly felt like it was way too long, and I really recommend, if you're gonna read this series, I would recommend not jumping into the sequel straight away, and read the first book, leave it a little bit of time, and read the second book. I think you would get a lot more out of the story, because you will appreciate the recap more of the first 100 pages. So yeah, if you're gonna read this series, I recommend reading From Blood and Ash and then leaving it a little while and coming back to the sequel, because the sequel is really slow going, especially if you jump into it straight away. So now into my spoilery thoughts. Okay, so I really enjoy the characters of this story. I think Poppy is a huge badass. I want her to be my best friend. I'm like totally here for her. I like Cass as a romance. Not a romance, as a, oh my god. I enjoy Cass as the romantic parent. My brain just completely went blank. I enjoy him to be the love interest. Yes, that is what I'm trying to say. I really enjoyed Cass as the love interest, and I completely love the way that the story is going. So the one thing that I have to just get off my chest is the joining. What? Please, 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 please don't drop this and then not do nothing about it. So Cass and Poppy have to get married because he wants her to be the princess, his princess, so they can stop a war from happening and get his brother back, and she can hopefully get to Tawny, her best friend, and her own brother, who we don't know if he is ascended or not, if he's mortal or if he is unascended. So they marry to try and prevent this war from happening and both get what they want. But in Atlantean's marriage bond, there's this thing called the joining, which means that because Cass is bonded with his woven Kieran, then they would all share blood, and this sometimes turns into something more steamy. And I'm here for it. Like, I would honestly love if this series was a Cass, Poppy, and Kieran poly relationship. That is something I've never seen in a fantasy romance. Maybe I'm just like not reading the right stuff, but this is something that I have never seen, and because it's been dropped in this book, I really, really hope that it comes like to fruition. I really hope that it comes to actually being in the third book, because don't drop it and then like ruin my dreams of a poly relationship in a fantasy romance, because I'm totally here for it. So that is like one of the biggest things that happens in this book. They travel from the tavern that they are living in with all of the descendants, and they then go on their way to Atlantia, and they get to Seppa's End. And here is where the story really kicks off. So like the first 100 pages were like recap building into this new book, and then the next like 400 pages were us getting to this point, which is why I felt like it was just too bloody long. So when we finally do get to this point and the Ascended come and they like all out start a battle, and the people from Atlantia come to help them win this battle, and I really enjoyed that end scene. I enjoyed that they finally got to Atlantia. I enjoyed the marriage between Cass and Poppy, because like yes, and they finally, it only took 500 pages for them to realize that they actually do love each other and that this marriage is a real thing that's gonna happen. But we got there in the end, and I really enjoyed the fact that at the end, the very end of the book, the king and queen of Atlantia bow to Poppy because she has the blood of the last gods. So she is literally the descendants of the gods, and that is great because it sets up so well for the third book. So what I'm expecting from the third book is the join in for one, because please just don't drop that and then not give me it. I really hope that there's a poly relationship between Poppy, Cass, and Kieran, but I probably won't get that, but I will settle for the join in happening. I want to know why Poppy is the last descendant of the gods. Does this mean her brother and her aren't related? Are her parents actually her parents? I hope to get answers about that as well. And then another thing is what is going to happen, because if all of Atlantia isn't behind her, then she is left to kind of fend for herself along with Cass. But if all Atlantia is going to bow to her, then she literally has a kingdom at her fingertips, so she can then get her brother back and probably stop the Ascended. But that's not going to happen in the third book, because this is a 6-book series, so there's obviously going to be a lot more to it. But that's just like my hope and predictions for the third book, because I really hope that the series gets better, because the first book was such a hit. This book was kind of a disappointment, unfortunately, and I hope the third book just brings it back and I can relive the feelings I had from Blood and Ash in the third book. So yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 stars. It was better because of the last 100 pages. It was going to be a 3-star, but the last 100 pages saved it from being a 3-star. But it's kind of disappointing because the first book was a 5-star, it was great, and then to go all the way down to a 3.5 star with the second book is not ideal. But I am going to continue because I still love the world, I still love the characters, I definitely want to know what happens in the third book. So yeah, I will be making a vlog for the third book, but that probably won't be out for another little while because in June, Whatever-a-thon is happening, and I have no room on my TBR, so I won't be reading it next month. And I feel like because I read the first two so quickly after each other, I feel like the best thing to do is give myself some time to then jump into the third book and hope for the best. So that will be coming. So if you're interested in my thoughts on the third book in this series, Crown of Gilded Bones, I believe, then stick around, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, and you can see that when I finally get to it. But until then, all of June is going to be taken up with Whatever-a-thon content, because I am so happy that there's a competitive readathon coming, because I need it in my life. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you maybe pick up this series. And if you've already read this series, comment down below, tell me how you got along with it. Did you feel the same way about the second book? Was it a letdown for you? Because it was a letdown for me, but I'm over it. I'm over it. We will read the third book and hope for the best. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you have a great week, day, weekend, whatever. Stay safe, happy and healthy, and I shall see you next time. Bye.
Pack up my summer in a Ziploc bag. Old maps and tchotchkes, photographs said this and that. I'll write myself a letter so that I'll remember